Hello my friends, I hope you are well and ready for another meeting with a bit of plastic, resin and metal. Now it's Monday, so next episode on Coldemonspl is just starting. And to be more precise, today I will deal with Panther D produced by Meng. I haven't had the chance to deal with this model yet, so now thanks to the courtesy of one of my patrons who sent me this set, thanks Karsten, I have the opportunity to build it with a few of the accessories I choose for it. I started the whole fun by assembling the quick track set, as it takes no more than 40 minutes. There is nothing here other than links, which we assemble using the snap method. Easy, fast and effective, and if someone tells me that they have a problem with this, I don't know what's wrong. I think I have assembled probably all the sets of this company, and I can say that I very rarely break something. Of course I pressed too hard a few times, but it wasn't a big deal, and I simply used another link because they are always more than enough in the package. I say this to all the malcontents because they can't do anything else. When I was finishing assembling the trucks, I built the basic elements of the hull and chassis to have a base for further work. There is nothing special here for now, the model looks as it should, no rocket science at all. I threw a few plastic elements in the trash and replaced them with metal ones. Of course I'm talking about the handles, which are easiest to make using a bending machine. Copper wire works best for this task. If you are interested in the thickness, I recommend a range between 0.5 and 0.7 mm. This looks the best. I used black CA glue by VMS to glue them. I also decided to improve the look of the armor plates on the sides of the hull. I made a mixture of putty and thick glue for this and applied it to the surface with an old brush. 2 layers will do a good job, but you have to remember not to make them too thick and too intense. This is not a Soviet factory, so the work should be done quite subtly. Of course it's better to carry out such an improvement before additional equipment elements appear on the sides. In the end it looks very good. The surface is slightly improved with visible unevenness, but they are not as strong as in the JS2 built earlier. While I was still improving the appearance of the armor plates, I made deeper cuts to imitate their cutting. All of them were smoothened with thin glue. When building the main parts of the hull, I forgot to drill holes for the side shield hangers. I thought about solving this problem, and I definitely didn't want to waste time measuring and positioning these parts, so I came up with the idea of lighting from the inside with a small phone camera. After turning off the light, the places that needed drilling were perfectly visible, and that's how I got out of the situation. To glue the metal shields I used glue for photo-etched elements. Small amounts are enough, but it happened here and there that the glue slightly flowed out beyond the places where it was supposed to be. Excess can be removed with a debonder. Another addition to the model is the antenna by Master Model. I have used this product before and I think it's the best antenna in 35 scale for use in German vehicles. The construction is based on 2 3D printed elements and 2 metal ones. Building the whole thing is trivially simple, and the only place where you need to have more attention is the clamp on the antenna rod, which has a delicate butterfly screw. Be careful not to break the wings of this screw, and the rest is a walk in the park. The set also includes a plate with photo-etched elements, where the most place is taken by the nets above the engine. To cut them out I use a set from Metmo, which I recently received for testing. There is a knife, file, pencil, flat and Phillips screwdriver and a center punch. For now I'm working with it and testing its use, but if you are interested, click on the link in the description to learn more. All the meshes were gently heated with a torch to increase their flexibility. This will be necessary for their proper forming once they are glued in the right places. The most important thing is to do it carefully so as not to burn through the weave. The best glue for gluing them is for photo-etched elements, which I have already worked with when gluing side shields. When gluing the meshes it's better to use a smaller amount of glue and then glue the elements than to apply too much, because the probability of clogging the mesh is quite high and it will be almost impossible to remove the glue even with the bonder. I gently pressed all the meshes to obtain the right shapes. It's not difficult, but it's almost certain that in some places the meshes will need to be additionally reinforced with a little amount of glue. In addition, I made a few holes to make them look damaged. Easy, but you have to do it with sensitivity and not overdo it with the number of holes. Small plates imitating protection against losing these elements need to be glued to the side shields. The manufacturer intended them as metal parts, but I decided that cleaning them would take too long, so I cut mine out of the plastic profile. Additionally, I punched out the fake screws with the special set from RP Tools. I think it was better than sanding small plates that were difficult to hold in tweezers. At first I planned to replace the tool holders with 3D printed ones, but after a thorough inspection I found that this was just adding work. I'm sticking with what the producer did because it looks pretty good. But I have already changed the fire extinguishers according to the plan. I added one normally on the handle and one additional loose on the rear engine plate. The towing cables are already a classic. I don't know if I need to say anything because the quality speaks for itself. Two towing cables and a thin line for pulling the trucks are included in the set, and it will look incomparably better than the wires added to the set by the producer. Am I right? The thin line requires a bit of work to arrange it in an interesting way. It's worth using small amounts of glue along the way, which will definitely make the work easier. The same goes for the towing cables, which I also fix with a bit of glue. For some time now I have been painting the ropes on the model because it has become more convenient for me than doing it separately and gluing the finished elements. On the turret I did exactly the same as on the hull, improving the appearance of the armor plates with a mixture of putty and glue. The only difference is the tool I used to sand the surface. I used an abrasive sponge before and now I use a metal brush. Basically it's the same, so it doesn't matter to me what I use, but I think the brush is a bit more comfortable. I also immediately glue it in the machine gun barrel, which I have from another master model set. A drop of glue will hold it in the place. The next repeated action was to correct the places where the armor plates were cut. In several places I added new welds because they were clearly missing there. I used green stuff for this and my tool made from a piece of sheet metal. I think you know this method very well because I have shown it on the channel many times, but it's also used by other modelers. On the tool storage racks there should be metal pins with chains placed in the holes. To make them I use a punch from Metmo and a small drill with which I prepared holes and inserted L-shaped pins into them. I didn't add chains because I ran out of them at this stage and I will do it later. Drilling was done without loses, which is very easy when using these thin drills. And now I could start placing additional tarps on the model. I used a special sheet of paper and a paper shaper by VMS. I easily placed the tarps in the right place and shaped it to look natural. I also placed a jerry can and the previously mentioned fire extinguisher on it. The additional tarp also found its way onto the gun cleaning tools tube, and with that the model is ready for painting. It all looks pretty good. And right now it's a perfect moment to mention my wonderful patrons. Massive thanks for your support, my friends. The people who helped me the most are Bulldog09, Christopher Obarski, Dale Etchison, Dan Dibuła, Dan Majszak, EMT364, Eric Kirwan, Hans Zub, Peter L, Steve Enkin and the awesome Karsten Keddy. But the people listed just now are also my great patrons. Please don't forget that you can be one of them. And I realize it's not easy these days, but if you have a few bucks you could drop in my cup, that would be great. Thanks! Oh, and one more thing. Remember that if you join for free you probably won't be able to view my work. Better try the 7 days free trial, which will give you many more possibilities. So if you had a good time watching it, please like, comment and subscribe to the channel for more videos with my projects. As I said before, you can also consider joining my Patreon group because you can find there daily reports from my workshop, even if I don't broadcast regular videos on YouTube. Please remember that your support if you join is highly appreciated and helps me do what I do here at Coldemonspl. Thanks to this I will try to give you some interesting content to keep you informed and entertained. And a short note for collectors, all my models are for sale. Get in touch with me and we will discuss what you need or just ask what I have for sale. This one presented here is also for sale and I will be happy if it becomes part of some collection. In the next episode I will show you the painting stage, so that you don't miss anything, stay tuned. That's all for today, see you next time, cheers!